If there was no one to judge you, would you make different choices? Why make choices in your life based on what everyone else thinks is best for you? What about trusting your intuition and just going with what you think? Everyone has the power to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices, intuitive life coach, Christine McIver.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Christine, and I am situated in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. A wonderful place with a lot of energy right now. Today we're going to be talking about change is not a four-letter word. And we're going to get into that and take your calls and talk about it. But until we do that, before we get to that rather, what I'd like to ask you is what's going on for you right now? How is the energy in your universe? What have you been experiencing lately? I don't know if you've heard about this, but Mercury is in retrograde. I'm not an astrologer by any means, but I do know what that means. There's a lot of energy being pulled. There's a lot of shifting in the planets, and how that impacts you and I is there's a lot of challenges. There's challenges with communication. Have you been having any challenges with people that you're trying to talk to, work with, people in your family, people at your job? Maybe you've been having arguments with friends, or how about your kids? Oh, wait a minute, that happens all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Mercury in retrograde is also impacting technology. Lots of challenges. I use Facebook and my website, lots of challenges there. Emails not going through several times. If you've been experiencing that, you're among the many people who have as well. Mercury in retrograde is impacting the energy, and it's also impacting our environmental energy. Here in Ontario, we have been dealing with a number of things, and one of the big things that happened this past Sunday was a tornado hit in a city called Goderich, and it's been very, very tough, and we've had one loss of life, we've had several injuries, and several more have lost their homes and their businesses. It has been very difficult, and we need to all come together and to help. One of the ways that you can do that, of course, you can donate through Red Cross if you would like to give to that group and you can't physically go there and help. Or right now there's an online auction going on Facebook. It's called Online Auction to Raise Money for Victims of Goderich Tornado. You can check my Inspired Choices Inc. Facebook page for the link. Melissa Slager, Arnold, and Heidi McNeil have arranged this. They've been doing a tremendous job, and it is just getting a lot of attention, and we hope to raise some money very, very quickly to help the people in Goderich. So that has been difficult. And today, we've actually got warnings out for more severe thunderstorms and tornadoes in southwestern Ontario, so please keep us in mind. Of course, there was the earthquake that hit yesterday, and it was felt very deeply. Of course, it hit in Virginia. It was felt all the way up here in Ontario. Lots of people in Toronto, Kitchener, Cambridge, I know, felt it. I did not feel it, but I do know a number of people who did. So this is not overly surprising. It's not great, but it's not overly surprising with what's going on in the environment and what's going on in the planet. So if you've been kind of really upset and wondering why everything seems out of whack for you, this gives you a little bit of relief knowing that this is what's going on. Also, we here in Canada, we lost an amazing, inspiring leader. Jack Layton. Jack Layton worked in the political field, and even if you didn't agree with his party, no one will deny that he was driven to make the world a better place. And he knew change had to happen. He actually wrote in a letter just a day or two before his passing. He said, "My friends, love is better than anger. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair. So let us be loving, hopeful, and optimistic, and we'll change the world." Jack Layton knew that change needed to happen to get somewhere better. And that's what I hope that we can learn today on the call. Please call in with your questions and with what you're working on right now, and we can talk about what you can do to help you move through that. You know, what we've often heard is the only thing that is certain is death and taxes, and that's not true. Change is certain. Change is absolute. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You're not the same person you were yesterday. We're always changing. But most of the time we look at it, change as a negative thing, and we go kicking and screaming into the future instead of seeing it in a way that actually empowers us. And we need to learn to embrace the changes and win back happiness in our lives. Take back control. You can ride the waves or you can go under and fight the currents. And I think if you choose to ride the waves, you'll enjoy yourself far, far more. We're always changing. We're growing older every day. In fact, every cell in our body, this is astounding to me, but every single cell in our body, every single organ, every single thing in your human body changes every 7 years. So you are a completely different person every single solitary 7 years. So what is your relationship with changing? How are you being with it? Sometimes relationships can change, and sometimes that's challenging, or sometimes that's positive. Human beings are built in a way to continuously desire new things and want to change in that direction. Our heart wants to change, but sometimes we have a hard time conceptualizing changing. Just like the butterfly, in order for you to become more beautiful, it had to change from being a caterpillar, which was forced to stay crawling around, to becoming a beautiful butterfly able to fly and soar through its world. This is so, so true. And I love what Bob Marley said. He said, the winds that sometimes take something we love are the same that bring us something we learned to love. Therefore, we should not cry about something that was taken from us, but yes, love what we have been given. Because what is really ours is never gone forever. I just absolutely love that. So we're going to talk a little bit more. We actually have Diane on the line right now. Diane, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Diane.
Hello,
how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I've had a lot of changes happen in my life, though.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, this summer my mom got really, really ill really, really fast, and she was put on life support, and thankfully now she's coming around and everything. So my life's been a little bit stressful the last little while, and I have another change coming up that I'm maybe a little uneasy about.
Okay.
I'm an educational assistant, and I'm changing schools.
Okay. So
at this new school, I don't know anybody. It's, I guess, the fear of the unknown.
Right. Exactly. That's you hit the nail on the head. You're kind of jumping ahead on me here, but that's okay, Diane. It is change. The reason that it becomes negative for us is it's the fear of the unknown. Now, do you remember what fear stands for, Diane?
No, I'm blanking, but I've heard you say it.
Oh, that's okay. So let's just review it. It's called false evidence appearing real.
Right. Yeah.
So remember that the ego can only operate in the past or in the future. It can't operate in the present. All right?
Okay.
So when we go into fear, it's because we're looking into the future and we can't see it.
Right.
Right. So your ego has got you kind of paralyzed.
Yes.
Because you can't see what's going to happen, right? So therefore,
right.
you're associating change as something that's bad.
Could possibly be.
Right. Okay. So tell me about what's the absolute worst thing you're afraid of with this change, with moving to this new school?
Well, I don't know the type of children that I'll be working with, so that's an unknown. And I guess my fear is that I put myself in a bad situation, maybe, that I should maybe have stayed at the other school and not have left.
Okay. So what got you into doing this type of work in the first place?
I've always worked with children all my life. So I was in daycare, and then I got into the school system, which I absolutely love and adore. I love my job. It's just the unknown when you leave a school, that you know what children you're going to be working with, and you know those children, and you've already developed those relationships with the staff and everything, so you have that strong bond to then go to a school where you know no one, and then you also don't even know the children that you're going to be working with. So I deal with a lot of different behaviors, like autistic children, and some of them are severe, and I've dealt with children who have very aggressive behaviors. And so it's just a little of the unknown, I guess, that I'm scared of.
Right. Okay. So let's move from fear to facts just for a minute. Okay. So the fact is that you have been doing this work successfully.
Yes. Right.
Right?
Correct.
And before you began at the last school, you didn't know all of the students, and you didn't know all of the teachers or all of the parents.
Right.
And you got to know some new people.
Mm-hmm.
And you developed relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have the skill to develop new relationships, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So you love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And we know for a fact, you can tell your ego, we know for a fact that you have done this before.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to need to go to break in just a minute, but we're going to continue this call with you, Diane. But before we do, I want you to think of some more facts of what you've already done in the past. When you can look at the facts, it starts to quiet the unknown.
Okay.
And when you also look at what your worst fears are, then you're starting to peel away at it.
Okay.
You're starting to peel away at the fear, and you're putting a light on it. So it's really important that you do keep talking about it. Don't shove your fears down, okay?
Okay.
That's really, really important. So I want you to think of a couple of things before we come back on the call, so we can just kind of finish you up and help you to focus in on a new direction.
Okay.
So that this change actually doesn't take over too much of your energy, so that you're able to begin channeling your energy in a better direction. Does that make sense?
Sounds good, yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, when we get back, we're going to continue our call with Diane. If you've got questions and you'd like to get some coaching on it, get a little bit of guidance, or just share it to help other people, please do call in, and we'll get to your calls, and we'll do our best to answer them for you, okay? So we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
This is Inspired Choices with intuitive life coach Christine McIver. To be a part of the program today, please, you can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, my name's Christine, and I am a life coach, and we're today talking about change and how it's not a four-letter word. It doesn't have to be bad. All change is not bad. Yes, things can be difficult, and they can be out of control, but we always have a choice in how we're going to react to it and how we're going to view it. If you even look at all the great changes that have happened over the last 100 years, technology, human rights, embracing differences among people, following how people now follow their passions as opposed to doing what you're always supposed to do, increasing compassion, that's one of the biggest things that I've seen come out of the tornado, out of all of the tragedies that have been happening environmentally. We have seen such an increase in compassion. So change actually can bring hope. So, it's really the way we're looking at it. Before we went to break, we were actually speaking with Diane. Are you still with me, Diane?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So you were going to think about some more facts. So tell me what you came up with about the facts of your previous job.
Well, I've changed schools a number of times. Probably this is my 6th school. So I've loved every single school that I've been in, and I haven't had any problems at all at any of those schools. So fingers are crossed, and that I have the knowledge and that I've dealt with a lot of different children and successfully dealt with children and been able to help them, and that I have, over time, developed really great bonds with a lot of teachers and other EAs and principals and stuff from the past schools that I still talk to.
That's awesome. Look at what you just came up with in 2 minutes.
Yes.
Now,
so it's a little less scary now.
Right. Have you grown each time you have shifted into a new job?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, would you ever, imagine yourself, Diane, that younger Diane,
Yeah.
Six jobs ago. Would you want to go back to being her, or do you like who you're seeing in the mirror today?
No, I like who I'm seeing in the mirror today.
Awesome. So see how you can take the air out of fear?
Yes.
Right? So come back to the facts. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, so stay on the line and listen, Diane, as we move forward through the call. But that's where the power lies, in the way you look at your changes, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
So what we're talking about is how change can bring hope and how change can bring growth. Change is not a process for the impatient. Someone sent that to me this week. It's by Barbara Reinhold. And it's so true. It takes time, and it's a process. We live in such a instant world that sometimes we get very caught up in our angst because we can't change things. I know I know one of the biggest lessons I came to learn here in the universe is patience. And I want to flip a switch. I love how we can communicate so quickly and how we can, pick up the phone and call across the world. I love how we can go through and really make things happen in such a positive way quickly. But when it comes to us, when it comes to our learning process, it takes time. Remember, 95% of the brain is the unconscious, 5% is the conscious, and it's in the unconscious where the habits are. So creating new habits takes time. I've always known it takes 21 days to form a great habit and 3 days to form a bad habit. So be patient with yourself. That's very, very important. It's worth it. Change takes time and perseverance. And if you want something deeply enough, if you really get in touch with what you want, all you need to do is continue to follow your heart's desires. When we hold on to something we know, something that is familiar to us, oftentimes we can miss the possibilities of what's new. So positive change requires self-awareness and discipline. And again, follow your desires. Have your desires lead you towards your joy. It is not as scary as it seems when we start to kind of dissect it and pull it apart and look at what it is that we truly, truly want. When you get in touch with what you want and you focus on it daily, it makes it easier. I'm sure a lot of you out there are familiar with vision boards. Vision boards are putting on the board what you want, and that is going to keep you focused in the direction of where you want to drive. Now, what I was talking about with Diane is facts. I also suggest making a success board. That success board shows all of your accomplishments, big and small. And when you are looking at that success board, you quiet that ego and you take some of that fear out of your consciousness. That is what's really, really going to empower you to keep going, okay? So we've got another caller on the line. Barb is calling. Are you there, Barb? Hello? I think maybe Barb left. Okay, well...
Hello? I'm here. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
How are you, Barb?
I'm fine, thanks.
Excellent. Have you been challenged lately with Mercury in retrograde and all his little fun angsts?
I have, and I can relate to my emails because I was doing that this week and some emails were not going through, but I'm probably more challenged with communicating with myself.
Oh, tell us about that.
Oh, just my mind jumping everywhere, like the monkey mind, and I don't know. Trying to think of what I'm trying to tell myself half the time.
So is there something that... What is your question? Do you have a question related to change today, Barb?
I do. Regarding change, okay, I would say I've had a lot of changes in the last few years, and probably my worst thing that I need to overcome is my procrastination. Probably gets me in the worst trouble. I know I need to change. The feeling of being overwhelmed is huge, and my mind just jumps from one thing to another. I can read books. I can listen to people on procrastination and organization and know what to do, but still have difficulty completing it. And then you start beating yourself up thinking, well, why can't I do this?
Right.
And so, yeah, and then, I know I need to change that. And
when you start to beat yourself up, that can take you even deeper.
Yes, it does.
right? So you keep going down into the negative energy, and that's not going to inspire you to move forward. So, like I've said on many of the calls, is be gentle on yourself. If you need to put that on stickers all over your home, put that on stickers all over your home, because that saboteur, that negative voice that everyone has, it comes with our ego. That saboteur can get really, really loud. Now, I'll tell you something. This is something I teach all of my clients, is our saboteur gets louder when we are moving through a change. When we are ready to step forward, our saboteur gets louder and louder. Now, that saboteur is in the mind. And when we get into our hearts and we make the heart the master and the mind the servant, then we can start to quiet it. Okay?
Right.
Now, what I find to be very, very important, Barb, is what you're talking about is you're in your head, you're in your head, you're in your head. Okay?
Yes.
If you can go to a place in your home or even outside your home and just sit down with a journal and write out, what do I want? What do I want? Get really in touch with that wanting, right? So there's a 4-step process that I use for change. Okay? And this is also going to help you to get unstuck. Okay. Because it sounds like you're kind of stuck. You're repeating the same. Yeah. So if you could, first of all, the first step is visioning. So visualize what it is that you want. So if you have a vision, even if you're just writing the vision down, or you get out a Bristol board. This doesn't have to be complicated. Get out a Bristol board and start cutting out things or writing, and placing them on there or writing all over them. What do you want? I have all sorts of things on my vision board. I'm looking at it right now. It's in front of me every day when I'm in my office, and it helps to inspire me. It helps me to focus on what do I want. Especially important, spending time with your vision board every day, especially when it's negative energy. Okay, so that's step number 1. Then step number 2 is to plan. How do I want to get there, and what are the resources that I can utilize? Okay? If you are stuck, it's best to reach out and ask for support from other people. And you know what? Most of us are in our own head saying there's something wrong with me, and I'll tell you what, doing what I do, most human beings are vibrating nearly on the same level. We've got a lot of negative energy in the universe right now, and most of us are stuck in challenges. So when we can reach out and support each other, then we look at each other going, oh my God, I'm normal.
Right.
So you are normal, Barb. So reaching out and asking for support from other people, they're gonna say absolutely, and you're going to build a relationship on supporting each other. Not that you have to be there to do all their stuff for them, but just asking for some resources to support you in moving forward. That's creating your plan. Right. Step number 3 is then execute your plan. This is going to help you move forward, but continuous improvement. So be flexible in executing your plan. So, for instance, if you're someone that says, I want to lose weight, that seems to be a mantra we hear all the time, right? Right. Well, you might say, I'm going to exercise for an hour every day. And, like most of us, we get this big get up and go inside of us, and we think, okay, I'm going to do this, and then we begin, and we exercise for an hour after we haven't exercised for 6 months, and then we come home and our body's in severe pain. And we stop. So that's where I'm saying be flexible. Okay, so an hour was a little too much. How about a half an hour? It's maybe a little bit more manageable. It's maybe easier on my time schedule, right? Be flexible and start out slowly. Okay. Go back to imagine that child learning to walk. You did not tell your child to get up and walk. And as soon as they fall down, you didn't say you're a loser. You said, right? You said keep trying. Okay, so be flexible and baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And here's the last step and the most important, and then we have to break. The last step is celebrate. Okay. Celebrate your successes. Celebrate, pamper yourself, talk to yourself, share your success with someone, get a buddy that is going to be supportive to you. The celebration is so important because what it does is it feeds the soul. Imagine if you were talking to yourself, Barb, when you were a little girl. Yes. and you were telling this little girl all the time, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And she does all these things, and then you say, okay, now you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Okay, now you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this.
Right.
This is what we do to ourselves constantly, and then where's the joy?
Yeah.
So celebrating is a key, and it doesn't have to be, spending thousands of dollars or anything like that. You can maybe go out and get a pedicure, or go have lunch with a friend, or make yourself a special meal.
Right.
It doesn't have to be huge, but it is important because it completes that cycle and gives you the energy and the motivation for the next.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
All right, when we come back, we're going to continue on this process of learning about change and how we can work through and when it kind of turns into stress for us, okay? Stay tuned and please call in with any of your calls. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Christine, and today we're talking about change and how it doesn't have to kind of grip you by the throat and keep you paralyzed. I'd love to hear from my callers and my listeners, and I love to hear about what you would like to talk about, what the challenges you're having. So please connect with me. You can connect through my website, inspiredchoices.ca, or Inspired Choices Inc. on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter and LinkedIn. So Google my name, do it all. Get in touch with me, and I would love to hear what you are working on in your life. And you might be surprised when you share something how so many other people are going through it too. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of my listeners when they're emailing me and my clients. They're saying it's amazing how many of us are going through the same thing. And it's absolutely true. We're not alone at all. And when we reach out and support each other and share our challenges, we can actually move through them. Change can be stressful. There is stress involved with change. We fear what we cannot see, and we've already talked about what fear is. The reality is we don't always know what's on the other side of change. I can tell you personally, if you are ever fearing a relationship ending that is not working, that is difficult. We focus on, we want this to work, we want this to work. Well, for me, I was holding on to a relationship for 10 years that was not working. And I was sad and I was angry, which developed into resentment and deep depression. And it wasn't working for me. I was afraid of the change. I was afraid of that ending. And it was holding me back from moving forward in my life. And it was holding me back from being joyful and moving towards things that were going to inspire me and empower me and help me to live the life that I truly desired. Sometimes, I'm not saying walk away from relationships the second they're not working. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're doing your very best and you're reaching out for resources and you're still very, very unhappy, sometimes we need to let go and we need to move forward. I'm also an HR consultant, and I've often consulted people, both managers and employees, and I've personally gone through this myself too, where you feel like a job is holding you back or you're not happy in that job. And what are we doing? We often are fearing that we're going to get fired. And if you're not happy in your job, you're not going to be as successful as you possibly can be. And when you're vibrating in fear all of the time, people notice it. And it keeps you stuck and you're not able to evolve. And sometimes the greatest blessings are when someone is actually terminated in their job, because then they can have an opportunity. Of course, it's the way they look at it, but they can have an opportunity to look at their job and say, okay, what is it I want to do? What is it that I truly, truly want to do? What do I want to inspire me? Change can be the thing you really need, and unconsciously you're not aware of it, or you're choosing to avoid it. Fear is holding you back from growing, and sometimes I've spoken to a lot of people. I've had this in my life too. Sometimes when a job ends, the gates open up for new opportunities. We hold on to something that we think is all right, when in actual fact it's not working, and it's obvious to everyone. Sometimes we're the last ones to figure it out, though. My mom, my wonderful mother, who I'm the 9th of 10 children, an amazing woman, and she has gone through lots of challenges in her life and still is so strong and so positive. And she said to me just yesterday, she said, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. Sometimes we think we know what we need, and it's not what we truly, truly need. We think we want that which we have because we fear the change. And we send out these thoughts of happiness that we want to attract into our life. And if you know anything about the law of attraction, you're sending your desires out, but then we hold on, we resist the change. And resistance is actually the first step to change. Louise Hay talks about that all the time. The resistance is the first step. When you're resisting something, take a look at it. If you can, step back from it and look at it and say, why am I uncomfortable with this? Well, being uncomfortable means that it's not yet a habit. It's not something that you know intimately yet. And ask yourself, again, what do I want? If you're somebody who writes with the right hand and you put the pen into your left hand, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? That's a change. Well, all change is uncomfortable at first until it becomes familiar to the mind. But the heart, remember, is the master. So if you listen to your heart and you allow the mind chatter to quiet down because you keep focusing in on what you want, you will begin to move forward. And if resistance continues, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Start to dissect it, like I've already said. Take the power out of fear by shining a flashlight on it, just like you would in the darkness. Shine a flashlight on it and see what it is. And like I was saying to Diane, go back to the facts. Go back to your successes. See what's already happened. If you look at what your greatest fear is and you begin to dissect it, you will find out it's not as powerful as you think it is. It truly, truly isn't as powerful. If you want to grow and you have greater desires, then you need to do something different. You need to do something different in order to learn and to grow, and that's going to be a change, right? Embracing change is you on your way to being a happier person. I've worked in a lot of different places, and when I'm coaching groups, staff members, even management, people get very anxious because, well, it's working. Well, this is the way we've always done it. How many times have you heard that? That's not the way we do it here. Well, if we had continued 100 years ago doing things the way that they were doing today, you and I wouldn't even be on this call together today, right? We wouldn't have the ability to communicate. Right before I came on the call, I saw a big thing out on Facebook that there was another tornado warning coming. So I picked up the phone and called my family members and said, hey, I want you to know this. Take care of yourself. Protect yourself. Well, if we didn't have the ability to use Facebook, if we didn't embrace that change, if we didn't embrace the internet and technology, we wouldn't be able to support each other the way that we are. Yeah, sometimes people can use these technologies in a negative way. That's true. But what are you focusing on? Where do you have your binoculars looking? Are you focusing on the positive things in life, or are you the person that stands there with their arms folded or your hands on your hips saying, no, that's not right. That's not the way we do things around here. Well, be open to possibility. Be open to changes. Be open to new creations. When we are, there's wonderful inventions. There's more to come. There's more amazing ways to do things, to interact with each other. There's more ways that we going towards our joy. But if we keep ourselves stuck as if our feet are in concrete in the old ways, we're going to miss the beauty of doing something new. One of the things that I did a number of years ago, I read Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, The 10 Secrets of Happiness, and I guess I talked about that last week. And one of the things that he said in there, one of the very first things he said in there that really resonated with me was, be open to everything and closed to nothing. Be open to everything and closed to nothing. So when we are open to possibilities, and when we know that we're safe and nothing's really going to hurt us, and we want to grow, be open to it. Remember, if there's something that you're resisting, you're actually holding back for yourself some great possibilities. Who knows what could happen? Who knows if you step forward and you take a new course, or you go out to a new place to eat, or you hang out with some new people you've never known before. Who knows what could happen? You could make a new friend. You could find something that you didn't even know you were passionate about. Maybe you take a new exercise course. I remember years ago, one of the girls down the street from where I lived, she says, hey, do you want to take a belly dancing course? And right away I went into the female head. Oh my God, I'm too fat. Oh my God, I'm going to look ridiculous. Oh my God, I'm going to feel foolish. And then I went, wait a second, be open to everything and closed to nothing. So I said, okay, what do I got to lose? What do I got to lose? Having a good friend with you when you go and try these things, sometimes it makes it a little bit more comfortable. But I went, and guess what? Not only did I have fun, not only did I laugh more than I've ever laughed before, I made new connections, and it affected my body in a positive way. Who knew? I've tried many things in my life, and I've enjoyed them immensely. And, you know, it's like going up to the buffet of life and taking in the buffet and saying, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And when we're trying new things, we're finding out, too, what we don't like. So if you're somebody that says, you know, I try everything, I do anything once, that's great. And if you're somebody that says, well, what if I don't like it? Well, you're not going to know. You know, it's like if you have children and they're always saying, I don't like broccoli, and you say, well, Billy, you've never tried broccoli before. How do you know you don't like it? It's that instant fear of, what if I don't like it? Well, what if you don't like it? It's not going to kill you, right? So be open to change and see how it can truly, truly help you. Now, we're going to be going to break in just a little more than a minute, and when we come back, I want to talk to you about some tools and techniques that you can use to help you to move through stress and to help you with looking at change in a different way, okay? One of the biggest ways, and I've talked about it on every show, is breathing. When you get into a stressful situation and you clearly need to step back from this to take your power back in your life, go somewhere and breathe. If you can get up and excuse yourself and go to the washroom or go outside for a couple of minutes and just breathe, you'll bring yourself back down. And that's one of the best things. Yesterday, actually, I was feeling a little off, especially with all the negative energy in the universe. And, you know, it impacts me just like anybody else. So I did some self-care, and I went and got this the first time I ever did this. Absolutely loved it. Had no idea what it was. But I went and got an Indian head massage from Danielle at Let It Heal in Cambridge. It was absolutely fantastic. I was so relaxed. I felt like $1,000,000. I'm telling you, I came home. It was really quiet. I ate a nice meal. I had a nice bath. And I had one of the best sleeps I have had in weeks. And it was phenomenal. So doing a little bit of self-care also will help you during lots of changes. It's very, very important. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to take some more of your calls or questions, and feel free to call in with anything. And if I can't help you, I'll let you know, but I'll do my very, very best. Don't be shy. I know initially people are saying to me, oh, I'm too nervous, you're going to be okay. I'm here. It's just like you're just talking to me, and nothing really bad can happen to any of us, right? So I look forward to talking to you and sharing a little bit more about what I think will empower you. We'll be back shortly. Okay, stay tuned. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Glad you're still with me today, or if you're listening after the recording is done, I really appreciate it. And as I said before we went to the break, I would love to hear your thoughts and what you'd like to talk about and where you're having some challenges. You really do have the choice in your life as how you're going to live and how you're going to have things impact you. Change is an absolute. We are constantly changing. We are constantly desiring new things. And in order to get to something new, something old probably needs to be let go of, or you need to be doing things maybe in a different way. Focus in on what it is that you want and begin to allow that to drive you. Now, before we went to our break, we were talking a little bit about stress, and I want to give you some ideas of how you can overcome anxiety and stress. Now, when we go into anxiety, we actually have different chemicals are released in our brain. And in order to move those through, you know how we always say if you're going through hell, keep going? Well, this is the same type of thing. If you're going through anxiety, keep going. You want to move through this in your body. And it's very, very important. So here's a couple of tips. First of all, begin to control your thoughts. Choose your thoughts. Remember, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. And 80% of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. So write down what you want to focus on. Write down how you're feeling and begin to detach from the negative feelings and focusing over on what you do want. All right? Before you go to bed every evening and as soon as you wake up every morning, Read something you've written that keeps you focused. So today I choose only the miracles that are going to make me happy. Today I choose only the miracles that are going to make me happy. Today I choose only the miracles that are going to make me happy. Whatever affirmation, and there's amazing books out there on affirmations, whatever affirmation resonates with you, keep doing that. Setting goals, writing plans down, that will help to move you in a better direction and reduce your anxiety and show you that you have control over it. Also, your words. Remember how empowering your words can be. Choose your words and know that you are not a victim to your life. You have the ability to move in a different direction if you so choose. This is such a big one, too. If there's something that you're focusing on that's giving you anxiety, such as watching the news right before you go to bed at night, if that's giving you a lot of anxiety, stop watching it. Turn it off. You know, my practice is I watch the first 5 minutes of the show, or I'll just go to a news channel where I can see like the top things at the bottom of the bottom of the screen, and that way it doesn't keep me stuck in so much of the anxiety that it seems the news people want us to be in, right? Because that's how they sell their time slots, is all the viewers that they get. Okay, we've got another caller on the line. We have Elizabeth on the call. Are you there, Elizabeth? Oh, Elizabeth's call dropped. Oh, Elizabeth, if you can hear me, call back in. Until then, we will keep on going here. So what's really important to remember is to ground yourself as well. So how do I ground myself, Christine? Well, here's a few things. First of all, deep breathing really helps to ground yourself. We have beautiful weather right now, and if you're able to go outside in your bare feet, getting your bare feet next to the ground will help to ground you, to the grass. Go even touch a tree. Get with nature. Go touch a tree. The energy from the tree will help to ground you. Whatever the size of the tree is above ground, there's twice as much of that below ground. It has deep, deep roots, and it helps to ground you. So there's a lot of things about grounding, especially with the root chakra. Grab some books, look online, contact me, and I'll give you some more ideas about grounding yourself. That's very, very important. Another thing to do is to eat good meals and good protein to help ground you. Another one that I've talked to many, many people about, they feel like they're scattered and they're kind of falling all over the place, is routine. Routine helps you to feel safe. It helps you to know that you've got something to count on. So if you go to bed at the same time every night and you get up at the same time every morning, you will feel more grounded. Okay? So that's another key. Also, eating really good foods and knowing that you are supposed to be here. You are here in this universe right now for a reason. You are protected. You have angels and guides around you. We all do, whether you believe that or not. We all do, and we can take back our power. So look to be putting some routine in your life so you feel grounded and you feel safe. If you're having trouble with finances, there's a very strong possibility that your root chakra is off or you're not feeling grounded. Some of these things will help you to feel grounded. If you're someone that has a lot of anxiety, you may feel that you need to do some work in that time, in that area. So actually doing some journaling about how you're feeling will get that anxiety up and out of you, and you'll get a release, okay? So we're just about done for this week. We're going to be ending quite shortly, but I want to talk to you about what's happening next week. Something that many of us find ourselves in is we walk around and we have a lot of judgment. Judging other people is something that we've been taught to do. There's judgment all over the TV, tabloids, all over everywhere. And when we carry judgment, blame, and resentment towards other people, it's like drinking a glass of poison. So we want to talk about how we can take our eyes off of others and how we can move through those emotions and how we can make inspired choices to help us live a happier life. You really do have the power to move in the right direction. One of the empowering things that I love is to think about where I've been and how far I've come and how I have choices to move into a better direction. We all really, really do have the power to do that. Be gentle with yourself. It's so, so important. Do not fear growing, and do not fear becoming all that you can be. Sometimes we are told, oh, you shouldn't be so arrogant. Well, you know what? It's important for all of us to step forward with our gifts and to share them with the world so we can, just like Jack Layton said, make this a better world. I want to end with reading something from Marianne Williamson. It's one of my very favorite poems. And here it goes. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask yourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel secure around you. We were born to manifest the glory within us, and as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Isn't that beautiful? That's by Marianne Williamson. You know, if you have challenges, maybe you're having challenges right now with your kids, and maybe their choices are really impacting you very, very deeply. Well, understand when you are following what gives you joy, and when you empower them to make better choices for themselves by truly following their joy, and knowing that you don't own their stuff all the time. Ask yourself, do I own this or don't I? You will help yourself to move in the right direction. I'm so glad we had this time today, and I'm so glad for the callers. Thank you so much for calling in. I would love to hear from you. Please get in contact with me, whether you would like to book a personal session, get an angel reading, or just ask me a question. You can contact me at Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, or as I said, through Voice America, through my website, through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you. And remember, everybody, you always have a choice. Have an amazing week. I can't wait to talk with you next week, and keep choosing things that make you happy, and watch the changes that come that will inspire and that will empower you. All the very, very best. Take care. Bye now.